Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob and I'm really happy for you to join me. Thank you. Yesterday, we introduced the concept of the I system. Remember, it was I-system, and it's the survival center of our bodies and brains. We talked about how when it's calm, that we're far less likely to relapse to addictive behaviors than when it is overstimulated or overactive. Let me say a little bit more about all of that. In our brains, we have a CEO. Technically, this is called the executive mode network. It's a neural network that, just like any effective CEO, it helps us to be resourceful, creative, and key to understand here, it helps us to be resilient. And that is, from a brain perspective, that is our survival I system at rest. That's when the CEO is doing the CEO's work. Remember, resourceful, creative, and resilient. We also have another brain neural network. Technically, it's called the default mode network, which when it gets too stressed, it tends towards narrow focus, rigidity, and is generally far less resourceful or resilient than the CEO. Now, this default mode network represents our survival-based I system now in its overstimulated mode. The CEO is in a restful space. The default mode, survival-based I system, when it's overstimulated, it's overactivated. It's no longer at rest. I know it's not a big surprise here, but I want to assert this and emphasize this again. It's really key to our understanding moving forward when we begin to look at effective tools, resources, and even daily practices that we can utilize, that we can put into action to help to reinforce the executive CEO in our brains. When the resting I system or executive mode is in place, it's strongly associated with our not only being able to get sober, but to stay sober. And that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at tools for sustained sobriety. We want to flourish. We're not talking about white knuckling it. We really want to flourish in our recovery. And that's the resting I system. On the other hand, when the overstimulated I system is in charge, this is the default mode network that we talked about. It's strongly associated with unhealthy coping mechanisms, including all of our addictions, just to try to keep its head above water. So for today, I want you to see if you can identify when your CEO is in the saddle. That is, when you feel centered, resourceful, and resilient. I'd like to ask you to list a few things that you find which most contribute to that state of what we're going to call restful mind. What contributes to your having a restful mind? Next, I want you to see if you can identify when your survival-based I system has been taxed or overstimulated. And now I want you to list what comes up for you as you reflect on what may have contributed to that state of mind, to this literal sense of restlessness, of restless mind. So we're looking at restful mind, what contributes to that on the one hand, and restless mind, what contributes to that on the other hand. What behaviors, when you think about the restless mind, what behaviors followed after you're moving into that default mode? Remember, it's the default mode rather than the executive. The default mode is restless. The executive is restful. What kinds of behaviors followed on the default mode when it began to be overactivated? I'd like you to list those. Let's see what you come up with. In the meantime, I want to thank you once again for spending time with us here at your Vitality Project. It's much appreciated. Hope that you'll stay safe, be well, and I look forward to seeing you here again very soon.